ne the next function. But before we do that, I just wanna go over how we cite the pictures that we're using. And also, I just saw that Adit also just mentioned something in the meeting chat, and there's something I wanna talk about regarding that too, so we'll also touch on that. So first, we wanna cite the pictures, right? You guys can see my screen too, right? I just wanna make sure. Let me know in the meeting chat, guys, if you can see my screen. All right, so so when we're using pictures from like the internet, we want to make sure that we cite these pictures. So like right below your if you have any comment, or like right above like where you're getting the actual image, you want to make sure that you're citing these pictures. So pretty much to cite pictures, all you have to do is first you would have to put a source. So just type source, and then you want to put the URL of where you got this image from, right? So I don't actually remember the URL from where I got this picture. So since we're not actually putting this out anywhere, this isn't such a big deal, but definitely if you were making your own project, I would say um remember the URL and have like an actual Google Doc where you save all the pictures that you're using and like which website you got them from, so that you can just copy and paste the URL, right? So right now I'm just gonna get like a fake URL. So I'm just gonna type into Google like if I was trying to get like an ice cream picture, I would just click on the image and then go to its website. And then I would copy this URL right here. So I would just Control C, and then I would paste that right over here. And you can see how it underlined in green. So that's referring to the citation. So we always want to make sure that we do that to all our image sources and all our images that we're using. And if you want to really specify, you can also put an image description. So right above this, we're gonna type image description. And here you can just describe the picture, right? So if the picture right here is actually a ice cream picture, I could put like vanilla ice cream, or like, just specifying what the picture is, right? So I would say make sure you guys do that. That's something that I would look for when I'm looking at your code when you're all finished with your projects. And next, so we have another topic regarding citation. So this one's actually citing the function itself. Well, not citing, but commenting on the function or describing it, right? So I think I mentioned this a little bit in the last meeting where I said that you always want to you always want to like describe the function or like have comments throughout, so that when you go back to your code, you know what you were doing, right? So first of all, we want to have a citation. So here, this code is something that you guys coded, right? So there is no citation for this. But in the future, if you were using a function that you got from somewhere else, like W3 schools, for example, you just copy pasted that in order to use it in your website somewhere, then you would cite W3 schools, because that's where you got that code from, right? So you never want to steal code, because if you don't cite it, that's pretty much like you're just using code without giving credit, right? So yeah, and then we also want to have an input slash we want to have an input slash parameters. And this is just referring to what the user does, or what kind of variable or parameter is going into this function for the output, for the desirable output to like be provided on the website once again. So over here in this function, pretty much what we're doing, also to anyone that wasn't here, this was a function that we worked on in the last meeting. And to everyone that was here, this is not how yours should be looking right now. Yours should be completely finished. I just don't have everything done yet. Like over here, I just did how much we were doing in class, but your guys' function should be completely finished for all the pictures to show up. So yeah. So for the input slash parameters, so we're taking in a variable called food type, right? So this variable is pretty much referring to this in our body tags. So we're getting the select appetizer. Let's just talk about this in the context of the appetizer, right? So we're getting appetizer, and then we're putting that through this function and saying, okay, so we know that it's an appetizer, but can you decide which one of the appetizers it is so that I can give the correct picture for it, right? So that's pretty much what the input and the output is. So how would we describe that for the input? Does anyone have any ideas to like just describe it in like a small phrase? You can type it into the meeting chat, or also just turn on your mic and let me know. All right, so pretty much what we're putting in is that when it's pretty much that the user selects a app or appetizer or a main or a beverage, right? That's pretty much what the user's doing that like allows for this function to follow. And then next, right after this, we want to know what the output is. Or output, or you could also call it the return. So right here, we're gonna have that an image representing or corresponding to the user selection. Pops up. So that's pretty much what the input and the output is. So I'm just gonna do this for this one function, but definitely do this for all your other functions. But you know, if you have any questions about what the input or the output is, definitely ask. But I think this part should be pretty simple, and I just want to definitely cover this because this is something that you should be doing to, like, you know, throughout your code. And also this, you know, refer like explaining what each line of your code is doing. That's also really good practice. So yeah. Okay, and now to so for the select item function, so we did it until here, and we talked about how we'd have more else if statements in here, right? But this is only for the if food type equals appetizer category. So right here, so where does this so where does this like end pretty much, right? So where does this if statement end? It ends right here. And from here, we're gonna do else if food type equals, we want to check what we named it right here. So here I named mine main. So I want to type in main right here. So if the food type is main instead of appetizer, then we're going to follow through here with the same exact code, except we're going to change, except we're, this code, except we're going to change the selected appetizer to selected main. And for that, you guys should have created a variable called selected main right here. And here are the images You just have to put different images, right? So over here, we're gonna do else if main, and then right after that, we're gonna have else if food type equals. Okay, I didn't even create like a beverage one, but if you guys did, this would be the beverage one. So then you would have like all the if and else if inside of this once again. So pretty much what we're doing is like a nested like if and else if statements, right? Because we're having an if and else if statement, and then inside of that, once again, we're putting if and else if statements. So the first statements are to first confirm, is it an appetizer, is it a main, or a beverage image that they're looking for. Okay, so for example, if it's a main image that they're looking for, like the main course ones, so then we go into the main course else if statement, and then over here we decide, okay, so if it's a main, is it a main 1 picture or the main 2 picture or the main 3 picture? You know, according to how many options you guys had added. So yeah, so that's how I would have done this. And I guess you could, actually no, you couldn't have done it in here in this if statement itself, because this was only for appetizers, right? So you have to like do it in this way. And if you did if statements for everything, I can see why that would work, but I would say do this instead, because this is just like if there's an error in your code, you know where you're going to be able to find it, you know? And this keeps your code more organized, because then you're like, okay, appetizer, these are all the options. Okay, main, these are all the options in here. But if it's just all if statements, it's all going to be kind of like jumbled up, and it's just like you can't really read your code easily then. So I would say do it this way, and then have the if and else if statements for main and for beverage in each of their like else if statements, like their respective statements. So yeah. Does that clear up anyone's questions from like trying to work on it on their own during the week? Or does anyone have any questions on that part?
How do you like copy the ice cream thing and paste it in your code?
You just Control C and then Control V into your code. Like that. Okay, so now we're going to be working on our calculate subtotal function. So pretty much what we're doing here is, so now that we're able to select each image according to like what the user selects, right? So now we can do that, but now we want to be able to also calculate the price for it, right? So we also want to calculate the price so that eventually we can create a function called, you know, when they click submit order, what we want to show up, right? So if you guys remember, when they click submit order, we want the subtotal to show up, what they ordered to show up, their name, and all that. So all that we're going to be working on in the submit order function. And for that to work, we need to have a calculate the subtotal function. So pretty much what this function does is when the user selects the pictures or the items, we go to the submit order function, and here we're going to be calling the calculate subtotal function so that we can calculate the price, and then finally like show that to the user, right? So for this, we need to create some variables for the price of everything. So right now we only have one global variable, which is the let selected appetizer. But if you guys worked on this, you should have the let selected main and the let selected beverage one. So yeah, so you guys should be having those two variables as well. So I'm just gonna type those in right now. So yeah. So those are all the variables that we needed for the select item function. But now we're going to be working on the calculate subtotal function, right? So for this function, we are pretty much getting the price of the first we're getting the price of the main. So we want to have a function for that. So let's name this appetizer. So app price float is something that we could name it. And then we also have the let main price float and let bev price float. So if you guys notice, I typed in float for all of them. So pretty much, if you guys remember what when we worked on the slides, or not worked, when we went over the slides on how we add numbers in JavaScript, like whole numbers and strings, how we turn strings into numbers by using parse float, the function, and then and parse int, parse double, parse float, those three functions, and how we use those to turn the strings into images. Turn the strings into integers or numbers so that we can add them, because we can't add strings, right? We can't add words, but we can add numbers. So that's the whole point, which is something that we're eventually going to be doing with the price floats, with the prices. So that's why I'm adding the word float at the end to this, just like make the variables more descriptive. So I'll give you guys a sec to type the variables in. All right, you guys, so now we'll get started with the function itself. So we want to instantiate the function just like how we did for the select item function, right? So first type in function and then the name of it. So we're calling ours calculate subtotal, and then we got to add our parentheses and then our curly braces, and then just click enter. So is everyone here, or should we wait for some more time? All right, I see that some people just messaged that they're still working, so let's resume at 11:33.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah, Diti?
So you know where you put like the let appetizer?
Mm-hmm.
So do you like there? Do you like put like all the things you have down?
What do you mean?
Like all the things like you put like all you put it for appetizer, the drink, the dessert, like all the other stuff you have.
Yeah, that's what we just did.
Okay.
Okay, so if anyone needs this on change part of the code, you guys can just take a picture right now. I'll give you a minute to do that, or a screenshot, because I'm gonna be moving on with the function now. All right, so pretty much this function, we're going to be having a series of if and else if statements, because we want to know, we want to like get the price of each single product or like food item, right? So first we're going to be doing if the selected appetizer equals none. So if they didn't select an appetizer, then we want the app price float. So that's the variable that we just created above here. We want this to be instantiated to 0 because they didn't select anything, right? So we want to initialize this variable to 0, semicolon, and then we can move on to the next else if now. So in this else if statement, we're going to first do all the appetizers. So now if the selected appetizer equals app 1, so that's the first, like that's this one, right? That's the first appetizer. So if they selected this one, curly braces once again, we're gonna change the app price float to whatever price you guys named it, or gave it. So I'll just put $5. So like that. So we want to do this for all of the appetizers first. So there's gonna be just like so I just have the instructions on here of how you should continue for the rest of this function. So first have this done. So first we want to, pretty much what we're doing is if they selected appetizer, and if they, in the selected appetizer, if they selected none, we're just going to have the price equal 0, and otherwise if they selected app 1, it's going to be this. And then we're going to do else ifs for the rest of the appetizers, but when we get to the main, we want to start again with an if statement, and we want to type in selected main, and if this equals none, we're going to do main price float equals 0, and then we want to continue with else if statements for main.
You know, like the selected appetizers?
Yeah.
It's like there's like a squiggly red line under it.
All right, so everyone can keep working on this, and I'm pretty sure if it's a red squiggly line, you just didn't initialize the variable, so
What
you
do you
didn't name
mean?
it the same. You didn't name it the same variables, like here and here. Make sure that you have the same name so that when you double click on this should also get highlighted. So that means that they're both the same variable.
No, I have a question.
Yeah.
So well, it's not like the question, but like, so like the like the next selected appetizer after the one I'm just typing.
Mm-hmm.
That one, they're both like under, so I didn't type anything in the middle of them. Do you get it?
No, what do you mean?
Um, so like, like the selected appetizer your mouse is on.
Yeah.
Um, both of them like are right next to each other, like right under.
This one?
Yeah, no, the
This
one
one?
above. Yeah,
What about it?
no, not that one. The one above.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What?
that
Yeah.
like the selected appetizer in let selected appetizer.
Yeah.
The one your mouse is on, it's right under the other one.
This one?
No, the one above it.
Okay.
So this one, that one, and the other one, the other one under it, are both like under each other.
Okay, then change them to how it is on mine.
Okay.
So if anyone has any questions on the calculate subtotal function particularly, let me know. You can let me know in the meeting chat. You can send a direct message or also just, with everyone in it.
You scroll up.
All right, where is everyone with their project? So, I mean, the function so far. Like, are you guys done with the appetizer and the main, and you're working on the beverage right now? Or if you're done with everything, we can move on to the final part of this function. All right, so I see that everyone's like kind of everywhere right now. So let's at 11:55, I'll start with the final part of this function, which is just gathering all the variables and adding them together so that they can later be used in the submit order function, right? All right, so like a few more minutes. So 11:55, 56, around then we'll start. All right, you guys. So moving on to the final part of this specific function. So after we have our series of if else and else if statements, right after we want to add up everything. So now in here we're giving values to each one of the variables, to each one of the price flow, main price flow, and the beverage price flow variables, right? So at the end, we want to have a variable that calculates, not calculates, but like a variable that holds all of these numbers, right? So if $3 plus $2 plus $5, like whatever the price is, we want all of those to be added and put into one variable because that's the final, or like the subtotal, right? So for that, we're going to be creating another variable right here. And this one is going to be called subtotal float. So this is going to be the variable that's going to be holding all of them together. So first, we want to instantiate the variable subtotal float to app price float. Next, we want to once again instantiate subtotal float, and we want plus equals. So right now, if the appetizer was $3, subtotal is currently $3. So now over here, we're going to add main price float. So what we're doing is now subtotal is going to be $3 plus whatever main price float is. And now finally we're going to add subtotal plus equals bev price float. So now pretty much what we're doing is $2 plus if the main was $3 plus, so we're doing $5 plus equals whatever the beverage is, the price of the beverage. So right now, by doing this function, you shouldn't have any kind of change in your actual code right now. I mean, in your actual like website if you go there, because we're not working on anything that's going to be actually showing up on the website, because that's like the actual next function, which is the submit order function, right? So that's going to be holding what actually like shows up on the web page. So yeah, does anyone have any questions on this part right now? And I guess you could also just kind of do subtotal equals plus, and all the other ones plus in the next one. But I just want to show you guys the purpose of the plus equals, and this could also be changed to minus equals if you were subtracting a number from an existing variable. And also you guys can find the recordings for this in the Atmiya YouTube, which there's a link to that in the WhatsApp group chat. So yeah, because I see that some people are asking questions about that. So that's where the link for the videos are and the recordings. And if you're not in the group chat, it's likely that your parents are in the group chat. So yeah, because I mean, how else did you get the link to join this Zoom, right? So wherever you got the link to join the Zoom, there will be like the recording provided there. So yeah, does anyone have any questions right now? Or any errors with their code? Otherwise, you guys can just keep working on getting everything typed in if you don't already have that. And, just like, if you have any missing portions, you can let me know and I can help you out with that, because I see that some people don't have some parts of the code, or they just like kind of forgot to type those. So yeah. So if anyone has any questions, you can stay on call. Otherwise, we're going to be ending a little early today since we covered everything. But in the next meeting, we're going to be doing the calculate the submit order function. So we're going to be doing like the final part, and then after that, we're kind of just going to be like elevating how our webpage looks in general. So yeah, stick around for that. But otherwise, that's it for today. And if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to go over, stay on call.